Hey everybody, welcome to the Art of Relationship show. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. It is Wednesday as usual, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, and I hope everybody is doing okay. So, now going to kick off the Art of Relationship show shortly. Going to be talking about gender stereotypes. As you can tell, my voice is sort of like, bleh. It's gone. So, I'll do the best I can to have a lively show, and I hope everybody is doing okay out there. And going to be talking about gender stereotype myths out there, the reality, and how I handle when couples will talk about gender stereotypes and about myths related to them, the all or nothing type of aspect, okay? We're going to kick off the Art of Relationship show right after the intro. So don't go anywhere, people. Talk to you in a minute. Hey, Dominic, appreciate you tuning in. So, going to be kicking it off, talking about gender stereotypes out there. And as people, maybe regulars that are listening to the show, doesn't matter what the topic is, you can join in down below and throw your comments out there, your questions regarding dating, relationships, okay, couplehood, marriage, and yes, intimacy as well, people. And I'll do the best I can to help you out. And for those that are maybe new to me, never heard of me before, I'm Greg Dudzinski. I am a fully licensed professional counselor here in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm a relationship and sex specialist and have been actually working with couples professionally for over 22 and a half years now, okay? And I do disclose, I do have a lot of grief and a lot of trauma experience as well. Also used to work with kids, severe trauma, severe sexual trauma as well with kids many years ago. But I've always worked with couples, and I still do. I specialize in couples going through one cheated, both cheated, an affair, cheating, type of betrayal, communication issues, you name it. So what I can do to help you out, throw your questions, throw your comments down below, people, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Of course, you know, another disclosure I throw out there, this does not constitute or replace actual professional counseling that I do in my office or telehealth, that type of situation. But I try to help as many people out there as possible. So get your questions ready out there. How many people buy into gender stereotypes, okay? And a lot of people will look at, you know, they'll relate to, you know, all men are like this, all women are like this. I don't get into that, okay? With couples, I hear, you know, on a daily basis, right? I get men, hey, Greg, you know how men are. You're a man, I'm a man. I said, no, I want to know how you view yourself as a man, what you buy into, what you believe in, that type of situation, right? Get women, Greg, I'm a woman, and all women. I said, whoa, stop. I want you to center on you. Okay, forget about all women, forget about all men, that type of situation, because I think a lot of gender stereotypes, and let's be honest, especially in the climate of the culture, at least in America now, you know, they get in there and there's a, you know, a huge divide about, you know, men, women, men having power over women, which I do not, it's not at all do I ever condone that. I promote equality, okay? And there are some men that, let's face it, have maybe more physical strength than a lot of women, but there's women out there that also maybe have a lot more physical strength than a lot of men, okay? So there's a lot of stereotypes out there that we'll look at and try to disclose and try to create a huge separation of, you know, women and men. You know, there are people I get into all the time. Women are a lot more emotional. There are women that are a lot more emotional than some men, but there's also a lot of men out there that are also compassionate, caring, have a lot of empathy and are emotional more than women. There's women out there that are also, they're cold, they're heartless, just like some men out there. So I want to dispose of a lot of gender stereotypes and help you out with your relationship out there. If you are in a relationship, I want to know how you are and also how your partner is, right? So I want you to be able to get out, they look at, a man should be this, right? Defined by culture, defined by maybe race, religion, as I roll my eyes, right? People know I'm not religious. So, they're defined by the stereotypes of how a man should be, how a woman should be. And I get this a lot as well. The man should be a provider. And I hear this from women, and I'm like, what do you mean by provider? Okay. Are you talking about you both make the same amount of money, but the man still pays all the bills? Is that what you want? That's what you're looking for. And I'm you're sort of stacking the deck in your favor, right? So I hold people accountable, yes, right here in my office, right? I hold them accountable, not judgment, not bias, but being able to hold them accountable and to how they want their life, what they feel their life should be, but also about not stacking the deck where everything is according to how they want things to be. And that goes for women, that goes for men. Again, this is not a gender bias type of situation. I never get into that. I look at how you want to be, but I want to dispel of gender stereotypes and look at what you want them to be. We can look at, the neurological aspects, the brain science that a lot of people have been looked at, forever about, the emotional areas, and maybe a lot of women brains might, light up more than a lot of men. But that doesn't mean all men and all women are the same, right? There's some men that are maybe not that horny. And there's a lot of women that are, right? So you look at, and you would do better in your relationship. And those that are in the dating realm looking for a partner, I want you to look at what your definition of a man looks like, what a definition of a woman looks like. And again, I want you to be able to look at, where did you learn that from? Who taught you that? Right? A lot of people look at if they did have a father figure in their life, be it a stepdad, biological father, uncle, whatever, that was in your life, excuse me, that, define that. I want you to learn what your view of a man is, what your view of a woman is, should be, right? And a lot of people look and they'll try to stack the deck in their favor so they have more power, more control in a relationship. I'm not about that. I never promote that with my couples in my office here, and I never promote that in my own personal life. I'm about equality. I'm all about working together and being a partnership and to be able to look at what works for each couple and each individual, right? Now, is there certain gender-specific roles, right? A man's supposed to get the car fixed, whatever. I know women that they're mechanics, right? They can change out an engine. They can change the brakes, whatever. I'm a man. I can't change out an engine, right? I don't have that knowledge. There's women that do a lot of home improvement stuff, man. They're great with a saw, with a drill. They're terrific. I'm also terrific. Well, maybe not terrific. I'm good, not great at home improvement stuff as well. But there's a lot of men that are not. You get me? So you look at, there's a lot of gender stereotypes, and you'd be, again, better served looking at what do you want in a partner and what is your definition of how maybe a man should be, how a woman should be, or, what if you're in a same-sex relationship, right? And there's a lot of maybe stereotypes that go into that as well with same-sex relationships. Again, go after specifically how you see yourself, number one, as an individual, as a woman, as a man. How do you see yourself? Hi, Ann. Hey, Sean, what's going on? Her, who's her? So throw your comments down below, people. Throw your questions out there. I'd love to hear them. and do the best I can to answer them, okay? I'm all about trying to promote love, trying to promote intimacy emotionally, mentally, and of course physically if that's important to you, to be able to look at, what works for you out there in the real world, okay? The real world can be tough at times. Looking at how do you reach for each other and promote, love and, connection, and what those look like to you as I trip over my tongue, okay? So this is where I want people to understand and to, define, what a woman is to you, what a man is to you. And like I said, I want you to challenge, where did you learn this from? And it might, some women out there want the muscle-bound, manly man, lumberjack type. Some women want the guy more in a business suit. Some women maybe want their man to be very emotional, and some women want their man not to be that emotional at all. Hey, Zeus, what's happening? What's going on? So, and same thing with, a lot of men, heterosexuals, speaking. They want a woman to be maybe feminine. Some men want their woman to be more masculine, where they can joke around, they can fart in front of each other, whatever, right? So you're looking at those situations and what works for you. What other gender stereotypes I want you to be able to look at and identify, what stereotypes have you found that might not be true, or I'm going to challenge yourself, what stereotypes do you still buy into that, maybe I want to challenge and look at if they are accurate or not. And remember, right, stereotypes have been around forever, and there might be some truth to them, or they wouldn't be stereotypes. A lot of people look at, well, they wouldn't be stereotypes if there wasn't some amount of truth to them. You got to remember, there might be some amount of truth. However, that does not apply to all. That does not apply to all women, all men. There's always exceptions to every rule. And that's why I'm doing this show, this episode specifically, to dispel, gender stereotypes. And it gets a lot of people in trouble, and it creates a lot of issues and power struggles in relationships and marriages. And I'm not about power struggles at all, like I said earlier. So what questions do you have for me, people? Throw them out there, okay? I love to answer them down, do the best I can to answer any questions you have. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Looking at, what gender stereotypes have you, maybe I want you to answer, what gender stereotypes have gotten you into trouble, right? What, hey, Chris, what's going on, man? I hope everything's good. Throw questions out there as far as maybe what gender stereotypes have gotten you into trouble, and we can look at the situation. The old stereotypes about, men are, better at math and sciences and all that stuff, and women are better at English and all that stuff. But do you know why that is? How many people look at that? Because women were limited to access to those things, right? Back in the, up until probably the 60s, 70s, it exploded a lot more. Maybe even 80s, it took a little bit longer going after that. But women were limited, right? They were only supposed to be maybe tellers in a bank, maybe nurses, whatever. So they did not go after, mathematics and science and so forth, right? Same thing with men. And that's where I want people to be able to look at, it's about the limitations that were set upon certain genders. Same thing, with men. Oh, men might not be good fathers. They can't be nurturing because they're men to their kid. And that is not again, that's a gender stereotype, and that's not always true. Love isn't real with women unless it's your mother. Ooh, I'd love to hear this, okay? So this is where I want you to be able to look at, love isn't real with women unless it's your mother. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to give you some stories, okay, regarding the stereotype of a mother. A mother's supposed to be nurturing. A mother's supposed to be caring, kind, giving, and, supposed to be there to wipe your tears and the blood off of you if you fell, knocked your head up against, a brick wall type of thing, right? Now, I'm going to sort of dispel all mothers are not good, okay? There are mothers I have worked with, not really worked with. I've worked with the kids. Like I said earlier, a lot of people don't know. I've done couples therapy, couples counseling, marriage counseling forever, over 22 and a half years. And I've worked with severe trauma in kids where mothers, right, would pimp out, literally sell their 10, 11-year-old daughters for sex. They would pimp out their kids, okay? And I'm being honest. So not all mothers are good. What about, as it's probably got national news here in Pontiac, which is probably 10 miles from my office, where mom abandoned their kids, three kids, right? Abandoned them. Maybe you heard that on the news. There are men that have killed their kids. There are women that have left their kids for men. So when it comes into, again, the stereotype, well, I'm a mother, and I'll ask, and your point is what? You get me? So I'm all about challenging those views when it comes down to about, a mother would not abandon her kids. You want to bet? Most women won't, but there are women out there. So you have to be careful, again, of stereotypes. And that's where I try to get to educate people, to be able to look at, hey, Mike, what's going on? Connie, I appreciate you tuning in. So with a lot of people, they look at, and I'm not making this stuff up, okay? I've worked with a lot of, abuse situations and kids, and mom was the abuser. The kids were taken away from the mother, okay? So I look at a lot of stereotypes when it comes down to, men can't be as nurturing as mother. Yes, they can. And there's some evil women out there that are mothers, and I tell people because they give birth doesn't make them a mother, right? It means they gave birth doesn't make them a mother. There's a huge difference when we're talking about the welfare of their children, taking care of them. Yes, most mothers are good, awesome, terrific, right? But there's out there as well. So when people out there and they tell me, well, I'm a mother, and I'm like, and your point is, not to be a jerk, but I want to challenge and educate people out there that not all mothers are good. So I look at going back to the question as far as, there's no real love other than for a mother. Yeah, I'm not saying all mothers deserve love. Not all fathers deserve love. Not at all. Because, again, blood related, we'll get into this stereotype as well, right? That you are supposed to always love your mother, father, whatever, because of blood. I don't buy that. Not at all, right? If they're good people, you have each other's back, nothing's perfect. I'm all about that. Woohoo, great, terrific, okay? Great, terrific. But there are people out there that are evil, that are not healthy for you. I know the word toxic gets overused. I look at, healthy versus unhealthy. And, what is healthy for you? So I'm not a big fan of blood is thicker than water. Yes, it exists. I get that. But it doesn't hold true for everybody. Again, talking about stereotypes, right? Talking about gender stereotypes. Well, it's my mom. I'm supposed to love her. And I'm like, who says this? Like I said, mom literally pimped out, sold her 10, 11-year-old daughters for sex. You're supposed to love her, right? You're supposed to love the mother that abandoned you in horrific situations, like in Pontiac, Michigan, okay? Like I said, it's freaking 10 miles away from my office here in Southfield. I've worked with horrific situations in the past. And so, I still work with adults, and I do trauma with adults too when asked. and, with couples and how it affects people's visions, again, of faulty visions of all men are like this because my father was this, was horrific, abuser, cheated on my mom, maybe abused me, right, as a kid. And I get that, but not all men are like that. Not at all. So there's a lot of stereotypes out there that people buy into based on their own experiences, and it turns into, and I get it, it's self-protection. I want what's best for people, right? I don't want people in horrific situations. I don't want people being, abused. I don't want that. I guard against it. I promote healing, okay? But there are people out there that will be in a situation where, and I get it, they have been in a bad situation. So what happens is they will look at, all men are like this. My mother cheated on my dad multiple times, so all women are like this. No, they're not. I get you. It's a self-protect mode, but there's a lot of women that are good women. There's a lot of men that are good men out there. So the buy-in, the gender stereotypes again, can cause problems and keep you away from it. It might protect you in a way, but is that a way of living? And does it also make you, maybe believe stuff that is not reality? That's not the truth. There's, like I said, a lot of good men out there. There's a lot of good women out there because one did something to you, or maybe two, treated you like crap. I'm so sorry. I don't want that, of course. However, that doesn't make all men or all women that way. So that's where I want to disbar the gender stereotypes out there. I get it creates, a sense of safety for all those people out there, okay? So going back to, like in relationships, do you have gender stereotypes as far as men should do this in the house? Women should only do this in the house. Laundry, dishes, dusting, cleaning, whatever. There's a lot more men out there over the last 25 years that have been doing a lot more housework, a lot more of the parenting work, out there, right? Cleaning, laundry, dishes, whatever, out there as well, okay? So there's a lot more men that have been stepping up, terrific, and there's a lot more women out there that are in the workplace, awesome. I'm all about independent women too, to be able to look at, how do you work together as a team, and regardless of what your gender is, are you able to work as a team and look at what works for you? Now, you could have, same-sex relationships, right? Then you look at, you could have one that's physically stronger and they can just move more heavier stuff, right? So you would let that person maybe do that because that's what they're good at. Some people might be better at cleaning or doing whatever, laundry, than the other one. Do they do that? It's a partnership. It's what do you do to work together and to get rid of certain gender stereotypes, right? Again, it looks like a right or wrong type of situation. And again, because of what we have going on in the White House, they want to, my belief is, they want the misogynistic, they want the men to have the power. I'm not about that at all. I'm all about equality and what works best for people, and about people, making their decisions, what is healthy for them, as long as, you're not disrespecting anybody else or hurting anybody else, okay? It's your body, it's your choice. So we get into a lot of other stereotypes out there that, people it'll cause a lot of problems to a lot of people, right? And number one, do you even ask somebody, again, going after it, how they are as an individual, be it a man, a woman, that type of situation, right? All men like beer. There's men that don't like beer. All women drink wine. They hate beer. There's women that love beer, right? We could go on and on, whatever. But you look at, you'd be more better off learning about your person, how they are, how they want to be loved, how they want to be respected, how they want to be desired. Ooh, yeah, baby. How they want to be appreciated, right? All men want this. No, they don't. All women want this. No, they don't. And that's where the gender stereotypes get into, get people into trouble and get relationships or, marriages. They get them into trouble and it turns into a fight. Someone's trying, I'm showing you I love you. Well, I don't want to be loved that way. Well, you should be loved this way. And I'm like, what? Who says this, right? So that's where I want people to step away from and learn, hey, how do you want to be loved? How do you want to be treated? Do you like affection, right? All women like affection. No, they don't. All men are not affectionate. No, I'm affectionate. There's a lot of men that are affectionate. I'm a witness to it every day in my office, right? And again, it's getting away from these gender stereotypes. A woman should be da-da-da-da-da. A man should be, you get me? No. I want you to be able to define. Now, we can go after, what you're attracted to, and I'll do next week about what love is, right? How do you define love? And I'll probably do that as next week's episode to the Art of Relationships show. Oh, real quick, I forgot. Make sure you check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. I do have some Stop Hate, Love Intentionally gear, sweatshirts, t-shirts. Check them out too. I'd appreciate it. I still have, as always, self-help courses for relationships as well. And one of them is also a premarital course that can help people, identify potential issues or current issues and trying to heal them. And also a course to help you heal after an affair. And yes, that's mostly what I work with, okay? So check them out, theartofrelationships.org. Make sure you like me. Follow me all over social media at LoveGuruGreg, and I appreciate it. Again, my passion is trying to help people, promote love, promote a sense of safety in a relationship, and promote, desire, promote, where you can talk about anything and everything in your relationship, in your marriage, no matter if it hurts your feelings, no matter if it creates insecurities. I don't want that to be the intent, of course. And a lot of it is looking at, gender, tying it into gender stereotypes. What happens if your lady, and I hear it, often, okay? Oh, you're not a real man. Greg, he's not a real man. A lot of people call me G. He's not a real man. Oh, she's not a real woman. And I'm like, oh my, that just cuts deep. Number one, why would you say that? Is it hurt people, right? Never justified, not at all. So that's where I want people to be able to look at and learn, why are you cutting each other deep like that? And then after that comment, why would they want to be with you thinking that's what you think of them, right? Because of maybe some faulty belief system that you have learned, grown up with, that might not even be true. Well, yes, we have certain people we're drawn to, certain people that we love or, we define that we're attracted to, right? It might be how we're raised. It might be biology. It might be just a thing. I tell people all the time, there's not a lot of women that might like short, bald dudes, and, do I have certain types of women that maybe I'm drawn to? Yes, or that I'm not drawn to. Absolutely. That is, I think, part of our DNA. That's part of who we are as a person. Is there a little bit of conditioning in there? Maybe, maybe not, right? How do you define that? There's some people, some well-known professionals out there that define it, that it's conditioned. I don't believe that. I think some of it might be, but I don't think all of it's conditioned. I think it might be just who we are, our DNA, right? So, but you need to be able to look at what gender stereotypes do you have, and you know what, are they causing problems in your relationship? This does not mean a right or wrong. Now, if you have a view of how a man should be, then you need to be with that man. or a man like that similar. Same thing, men. If you are a man and you have this view of what a woman should be, then you need to be someone that holds those characteristics, right? Not about stereotypes, right? Well, stereotypes are one thing where you end up a woman should be, and you want that person to meet those stereotypes that you hold, that you have. That's going to cause you to be getting in trouble, and it's going to create a lot of huge disconnect, and it's going to destroy your relationship or marriage if it has not already. It's going to create distance. So you can reach out for me for help, right? You're trying to have that person fit that schema that you think is right, that how you view it as accurate. So all of a sudden you try to fit that person to fit your idea of a certain stereotype of how a man should be, how a woman should be. There's a difference between that and then maybe personality traits, maybe physical characteristics that you're drawn to versus trying to fit, somebody into your box, if you will. And that's where gender stereotypes get into a lot of problems, right? And a lot of people, well, you're not a real man. I thought you were a real man. I thought you were a woman, should be like this. And I'm like, it's degrading, it's belittling, and it's sexist as well for either or, right? Man or identified female, right? Even in same-sex relationships, same thing. What are you drawn to? What are you looking for? Again, not a right or wrong, not bashing like a lot of people, let's face it, in this country will try to bash about same-sex relationships. Do they hurt you? No, they don't. Because you think it's different, whatever, doesn't make it wrong. Why can't you just move about your life and don't worry about it, right? So, and I'm going to get bashed about this, but I don't care. I'm a promoter of love and a promoter of healthiness. I'm a promoter of respect, okay? I don't want someone getting hurt, getting treated like crap, right? So look at what stereotypes you hold, and are you trying to get your current partner or maybe future partner to fit in a certain stereotypical box that you think they should be? You need to ask how they want to be, who they are as a person, and how many times have you been in a situation that you have felt, I'm not accepted for who I am. Or, let's face it, maybe a partner, numerous partners you've had over the years, maybe they've told you they don't feel accepted for who they are, and you're confused by that. Because you keep trying to say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. That's what a man should do. That's what a woman should do. And they're looking at you like, what? That's why I'm having this episode about gender stereotypes and the realities to them to help you, sort of dispel some, go after the reality of what you want in a partner. That's fine. We all want that, right? We all look at that and need to look at that. But get rid of the faulty gender stereotypes about all men, all women. No, not at all, right? I want you to learn about your partner. I want you to learn about yourself and how you want to be loved, how you want to be treated. Not everybody around you fits into that mold. But a lot of people, right? How many people, when you look at gender stereotypes, look at your friends, look at the relatives you're close to or you hang around with. Let me guess. They all have the same viewpoint of people in the world. They might practice the same religion. They have the same beliefs. You probably live in the same area, same type of culture. And everything outside of that is wrong. Everyone outside that doesn't fit into that niche, right? Cultural niche, racial niche, religious niche, they're wrong. They're different, they're not right. And the same thing falls into place when it comes into these gender stereotypes. We need to accept people for who they are. That doesn't mean they're a good person. No, that isn't what I'm talking about. They could be a good person, great, but it just might not be a person for you. That's where I want people to understand and look at, and trying to always change certain things to fit excuse me, to fit into your stereotypical excuse me, your stereotypical box. Oh, something like a dry spot in my throat. My apologies. Now my eyes are watering. This is real, unedited. So check that out. Excuse me. Check out my website again, people, theartofrelationships.org. Follow me, like me all over the place, at LoveGuruGreg. And again, like I said, I hit a dry spot in my throat. Now my eyes are watering. So check it all out. Share the live video on your page. I want to try to help as many people out there as possible, okay? Everybody have a terrific, terrific day, and make sure you can check the Art of Relationships show every Wednesday live, 12 noon Eastern time. And also, you know, message me, please. I'm always looking at, should I change the show back to 8 p.m. that I had for a long time? Like I said, my energy was depleted. My energy was like at 8 o'clock, so I moved it to noon on Wednesdays. But if you prefer, you know, 8 o'clock Eastern time over noon, let me know, please, okay? Any questions, any topics for a show episode, let me know. Message me, okay? Peace and love, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.